Hey everybody, welcome back to the REDX podcast. Happy Thursday, everyone. My name is Haley Johnson. I'm going to be the host today. We have Brendan Bartic with us today. Hello, Brendan.
Hey, Haley. Thanks for having me back.
Of course, it's good to have you back. I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching today have seen the episodes with you, but if not, could you just give us a brief introduction, who you are, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Brendan Bartic with the Bartic Group at Keller Williams Real Estate. We are now in 5 office locations across the Denver Front Range area. This year we'll do about $5 million, just over $5 million in gross commission income, so in GCI. And I have a passion for listings, expired listings, and helping agents understand that if you get this system down right, it'll change your life forever. And so I was probably one of the first people to ever use the REDX, and I was, remember again how it changed my entire life. So when they asked me to come on and help, I said, absolutely. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have any near the success that we've had over the last however many years it's been. So that's who I am.
Awesome.
Well,
we love to hear
it's what I do.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody that is watching live with us. We do have Brendan for the next 30 minutes. So make sure that you ask your questions as we get into our conversation today, and we'll make sure to get those answered. Of course, if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. And also the redx.com/podcast. You can also sign up for our emails to be reminded whenever we have new episodes. So now let's get into this. We're talking about how to get 6 expired listings in 6 weeks. Did I get that right?
That's right. 6 expireds in 6 weeks. And so we thought it was a very timely conversation because, like me and you were just talking prior to the episode, Haley, is right now, you just gave me the statistic, there was more expireds in the month of July nationally than there had been in the last 3 years. Am I allowed to tell that stat?
Yes,
that's an exciting
of course.
stat, right? So we're back, baby. Like it's like we're ready to go. And for those of us that have been training on this, or for you that are listening now that are really taking this serious, this is an opportunity to just cash in. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take you through some techniques here on ways to maximize taking 6 listings or 6 expireds in 6 weeks. And to start off that conversation, I'm just going to break down some of the numbers because in anything in real estate, Haley, as you know, and especially even the REDX knows, but more than anyone, this is all a formula. This just comes down to a simple mathematical algorithm that leads with you have X amount of conversations with X amount of people, and you do these other steps correctly, produces X amount of business. Right. And once you get that in your head, it really just makes it a lot more fun. And then you're running the play, right? You're not waking up every day going, where am I going to get my next commission check? It's going, I systematically do this and I systematically get paid. So we ran our numbers. Right now in our entire team, it takes 225 conversations about buying or selling real estate for our team as a whole to close 1 deal. For every 225 conversations, close, not list, not set an appointment, close 1 deal. So some of you listening might be like, wow, that sounds like a lot. Yeah. Remember, that's the average, right? So some agents on our team, it's every 10 conversations they close a deal. And then we have new agents where every agent on there, it might take them 700 to close 1 deal. But if you think about it, if you're doing 20 contacts a day, 5 days a week, which I always say 20 contacts a day keeps bankruptcy away, right? Like that.
I love that.
That should just be your motto, right? 20 contacts a day keeps bankruptcy away. Then you're going to do 400 contacts a month. So every 225, even on our team's averages, you're going to close a deal. So you got to be looking at it going, every month, I'm guaranteed 2 deals if I just do this. And we just ran the numbers. This isn't like we picked this number. We track everything in CSU. Like we have every data point measured. 220, it was like really 224.6 or something like that. I don't know how we got a quarter of a contact there, but whatever, right? It comes out to being that perfect. So then what we think about is expireds, Haley, close at a much higher conversion level because they need to sell. They've already decided to use an agent and have already decided to pay a commission. So we looked at our numbers as far as expireds go. That's at a 30-to-1 conversion level. Think about it, 225 to 30 just focused on expireds. And what I mean by 30 conversations, this is 30 full-on conversations with a seller that you had to get them on the phone. This isn't a text message, an email. This is an actual physical conversation about helping them sell their expired listing. Mm-hmm. So if you want to sell or list 6 expireds in the next 6 weeks, 180 conversations with expired listings. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the second piece of that then comes from, where in the heck am I going to find 180 expireds to talk to? Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to share with us today, Haley. So we wrote down a number of different techniques here, but the first one, and by far and away is the biggest one, is even though you're getting data from the REDX, from everywhere else, there is still at minimum 50% of all expireds we cannot get a phone number or email address for to be able to contact them by phone. Mm-hmm. We have to go to the door. Door knocking and having a traditional expired door knocking plan with a definite expired strategy, right? Looking at this. And our expired strategy works like this. And I want to just share the technique.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, I got to show up and put like my business card on their door. I've seen people tape things to the door and all of this. You got to think about the psychology of the seller. Why would someone call you? Do they want to call a realtor? You know what? They come home and they get their business card like, oh, thank goodness, Brendan stopped by. I better call him so he can tell me how he's going to sell my house. No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I use a traditional yellow sticky note. I drive by. I either put the sticky note on their garage door. A lot of times I don't even do the front door. I'll do the garage door or the mailbox and say, hey, I have a couple of questions. Can you please give me a call back as soon as possible? It's very important. Mm-hmm. They don't know if it's I kidnapped their dog,
right?
If I'm the IRS, they don't know. They have to call me. They have to call me, right? So for all of you out there, think about the psychology of what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. You're going to door knock, and again, think about when you're door knocking. The best time to door knock, Saturday and Sunday. You're going to have the majority of people at home. But Haley, this is the mind shift change where you have agents going, but I'm doing an open house on Sunday. Well, door knock expireds in that neighborhood the morning of your open house, and at the same time, invite them to your open house. Right? Kill two birds with one stone. So just try to start thinking about that from a tactical aspect instead of just I door knock. I've seen people put full listing packages on people's doorsteps. I know people that do all these crazy things.
Oof.
Why would I call you back? You just told me everything. I make a decision. I go, yeah, not for me. Never.
Yeah, especially because expireds. I mean, sometimes the agent didn't get the job done, right? And so they're already angry at agents, especially
Really
because they might have gotten calls as well and stuff like that. So they just see a realtor put their business card and they're like, what? Like, no, you guys didn't help me the first time around.
Completely. Yep. So we got to play. All of this is working with the seller, think like you just said, their emotions, their psychology of it. So that's the number one is if you door knock, and also I have a lot of sayings, door knock one expired a day to keep bankruptcy away, right? Just on your way home, door knock an expired every day. If you're at the office prospecting, maybe hit them on the way there and on the way back. I mean, depending on what time you're coming into the office, but just get it into a routine. All of this is consistency, then that equals to conversations. But it's going to be hard to have 180 conversations with expireds. Now, I know some of the top expired guys and gals are out there listening going, wait, 30 to close one? I'm at like 10 to 1. Everybody's different. I'm telling you just straight up safe averages for anyone that's getting into the game. I'm sure some of you are ninja masters, and that's great. And then there's people that are listening that are going, I'm thinking about door knocking my first expired tomorrow, right? So just everything we do is average. Because when you're building, I own a team. When you're building a team, you can't bank on everybody being a ninja. I try to bank on everything going, what if I just did the normal, right? Mm-hmm. The regular work. So I just want to cover that. So the next big tip here is you have to be first and you have to be last. And what we mean by that is, of course, we all know expireds is an early morning game, right? But instead of just thinking I have to call first early in the morning, right? The play that we've seen work best is you start your expired play, and this is going to shock some people, but if you want to make a lot of money, this is how it looks. 5:30 in the morning, you're sending a text message to every expired that you have a phone number for, saying, this is Brendan with XYZ company. I was blown away that your property came off the market when I saw it this morning. I really want to talk to you as soon as possible. I'm going to be giving you a call a little bit later this morning. You're the first person. Remember, you got to be first.
Yeah.
You might not be able to be the first phone call, but if you work this into your regimen, like again, for some of us, we practice a thing called morning mastery. It's our whole mastery, like mastery is an acronym for meditation, affirmation, script practice. It's a whole thing. That's a whole nother episode. Yeah. But if you get up and you get into this play, you're going to be first. Then when they see your phone number come up, they're more likely to either answer it, or if they think you're a realtor, they might not. But remember, they're going to be getting 6 other calls already from your competition. You've got it in on that first going, I was the first one there. So if they do answer, great. Now, then the second piece is we also send them an email. So again, in that morning, before we even make them the phone call, they're receiving a text and an email. Then they receive the phone call. Then if they don't answer the phone when I call, we of course do what we always do. We hang up and call back immediately, right? So you don't leave a voicemail on the first call, right? We call that a double tap. So we're always double tapping people. And some of you are listening going, oh, that just annoys me when people do that to me. It works. I'm just telling you statistically, it works. Because people are like, gosh, why is this guy calling me twice in a row? Is something wrong with my house? Okay?
Yeah.
The third piece of that strategy that you want to think a lot about too is making sure that your phone number, how you have to test how your phone number comes up on regular people's phones. So many of you, your phone numbers already come up as spam. So you might have to get an additional line. Some of you are using a Google number because, and this blows my mind, because you don't want people calling you back to your actual phone number. I'm like, then you don't want to be in sales.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, I don't want them having my regular phone number. I'm like, because it's not on your website? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but
interesting.
Again, what do I know, right? So make sure you know how you come up on other people's phones. And then what I mean by being last, when you're calling expireds, you're calling them 3 times in that first day. And then we have our proprietary system with, well, I don't know if it's proprietary, a system that we use at the Bartic Group, which is they're getting a call, a text, and an email 6 days in a row. And then we rest on the 7th day. Then they're getting 1 a week for the next 4 weeks. And then once a month for the lifetime until they tell me to buzz off or they list with us. And that's the regiment, right? And it never changes. It's a formula. That's all it is. That leads to 6 listings in 6 weeks. More than that, if you follow it. Where people get sidetracked though, Haley, is they go, man, I got to be consistent. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, I got to wake up early. That sucks. Oh, you want me to door knock on a Saturday? Ew. How much money do you want to make? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Right? All of this is a setup point to, once you dominate expireds, you can either do them for your whole life, or it can start creating the foundation for all of your entire business. Take the money you make from expireds, put it into your farm, into geo farming or into marketing or into billboards, and then make a plan one day that you're never going to have to get up early and do this again. Right? Maybe that's your play. Right? Because you're doing other things, but you're going to have to wash some dishes before becoming the chef. Right? You're just going to have to suck it up. And a lot of people don't want to get their hands wet. You know, it's just unfortunate. So be first and then be last. We convert expireds that have been expired for 4 years, and we've also had expireds that convert after 4 hours, right? You don't know what their scenario is. Some people are expiring because there's something that changed in their life. It's a condition, not an objection. Like they have to have hip surgery. So they're like, I'm gonna let it expire. I don't want to deal with showings. I'm gonna be in the, that's a condition. You can sit there, unless you're going to wheel them in and out of their house every day, which I know agents that have done this, right? Wow. That's something you can't get past right now. So be there at the end when it's time again. So your CRM or your REDX CRM is going to be massively important to track all this data. Then number 3, I put down, Haley, I said, you got to be different. you have to do something to stand out.
Mhm.
And I hate to use the word gimmick or gimmicks or whatever it is. You got to get a little dorky on this and being like, all right, how do I stick out from everyone else? What's going to be my play? Am I going to be the fix and list guy? Am I going to be the sold in 60 days or I'll buy it gal? Am I going to be this, that? Like, what's your like hook that you do different than everyone else just going, I'm trustworthy and I've got good marketing, right? Like, cool, buddy. You and the other 19 people that called me at 8 o'clock this morning. So you got to think about, what am I going to do to stand out? Is it that you offer a guarantee? Do you pay for cleaning? Right? Like so with ours, we're going to make your house look amazing. We're going to do a cleaning before we list the property, and then we also pay for a cleaning the day before you close, so you don't have to worry about anything. Let us take care of that stress. You got to find something that goes, you're going to hit with an expired. They're going to go, ooh, I like that. That's something different my last
box.
Because everything, all we're going, my last agent didn't do anything, right? They didn't do squat.
Right.
This guy's going to clean my house. That's awesome. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So think about it and then beta test it. Not everything you do is going to be a home run. You got to try it for 6 months, see if it worked. If it does, pour more money into it. If it didn't, cut it. Right? We do all kind of different things, and like we know, like Haley was just informing us, the market shifts and changes. We got to adapt with the times. A sell it in 60 days or I'll buy it program wasn't working for the last, 2 years. Maybe it's coming back. Maybe it's sell it in 30 days or I'll buy it. Maybe it's sell it in 30 days or I'll do it for free. Maybe it's, you can think of all of these things, but I hate to use the word gimmick, but it's a marketing strategy that catches people's attention. So I really think that's key to stay.
Well, and it's not even like you say gimmicky, but it's just like providing more value, right? And that's where you're coming from is, and that's what they'll see it as is, oh, this agent actually really wants my business and they're bringing all of this value, then of course I'm going to do that, versus someone who just promises everything, like you said,
right.
What the bare minimum of what an agent should do, right?
Yeah. When we role play, Haley, I always ask my agents, what are you going to do different than the person from XYZ company? And you want to talk about in role play, the most challenging script to have. That's the most challenging because they always go, it's like, what are you going to say? And then you have to define that. Maybe it's, when I take your listing, I personally door knock 500 doors in your neighborhood, letting your entire neighborhood know that the property's for sale. When I do that, I usually find renters that are interested in buying your property. So it creates whatever it is, right? That you do that is just a little bit different than the next person, right? And then number 4, I wrote down, you have to offer options, which we were talking about here. So in this day and age, the seller needs to have different options available to them to solve their problem. Maybe that offer is a cash offer, right? You have a cash offer program, and like our company, Keller Williams, they have their own cash offer program that the agents are able to use. Then I know there's outside companies that do this, or just find somebody rich and use their cash, right? But maybe it's a cash offer going, we're able to buy your house. We talked about it, sell in 60 days, a trade-in program. Trade-in meaning that we're going to help you, we're going to buy your house under contract. That way you can that way you can buy your next house and then move into it, and then we'll list your house and sell it after the fact, right? There's companies that support that play. So you can look at it, just Google trade-in programs for real estate agents. We talked about this earlier, fix and list. So we're going to come in on any property and we're going to fix and upgrade things in your house to make it more sellable. For that, we charge an extra percentage of commission, right, to do this. And we have to put a lien on your house in case you try to screw us over. And there's technical pieces that go along with it.
Yeah.
But to the public, you go, wait, you're going to upgrade my house so I can get more money. And then at the end, we kind of just split it up on the profits. That's a win-win.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Why exactly, Haley? Why wouldn't you do it? And we don't try to do them very often, but it gets us in the front door. Then we come into the front door and we go, well, we could do this option. You're going to pay this extra money for us to provide this service for you. Or now that I've seen the house, why don't we just offer a concession in lieu of the upgrades? And let me offer that to the buyers so they can upgrade it and do whatever they want to it. So again, it's got to be the right scenario, but it gets me in the door. They're thinking this guy's going to remodel my kitchen and sell my house. I get there and I go, maybe, but not really. And let's just do this and still list your house. Because we don't want to have to deal with all that coordinating contractors. I mean, again, we'll do it. I mean, we do it rarely, but what's going to get you in the door?
Yeah.
What's going to get you in the door? Okay.
I like this.
And then number 5, and I think probably one of, if not the most critical, is your presentation. So how much have you rehearsed and practiced and role played your listing presentation? I mean, I'm a classically Mike Ferry trained coaching agent from way back in, we were faxing contracts back in the day on our Blackberries. Terrible, right? But our Palm Pilots. Remember Palm Pilots? I don't even know if you won't remember Palm Pilots. God, it was terrible. Anyway, it was like the coolest thing at the time. But back in the day, we practiced our listing presentation to the point of nauseam. So when I met with you, Haley, at your house, I'm so precise. I know exactly what to say. I know how you're going to react most of the time. I know all of these things that are going to happen. And there's a rhythm and a cadence, a rhythm of success that leads to this crescendo at the very end of Haley just going, where do I sign? Like, yes, like my last agent was a moron. Thank goodness you're here. And where do I sign? And so you could be here's where people get frustrated with expireds, Haley. They set appointments because of your amazing software, go on the listing appointment and get smoked because they're going against me. No offense, I'm not trying to sound conceited, or they're going against my other highly trained counterparts, not only my team, but there's people way better than me at expireds. I've met them at masterminds, right? These guys and gals are just like smooth, like so good at it. And I go, how did you get so good? Practice. How'd you get so good? That's really good English. How did you get so good at this? I guess it was okay. And you just go, I just practiced it. So is your presentation powerful enough that at the end of this conversation, there's nothing left to do but sign, right? And we break that process down in our world. We call it listing mastery. And we have a course on it on Brendan Bartic Real Estate Coaching that we offer. But we break it into 4 sections, right? That listing presentation has to be broken down into 4 sections in our world, which is number 1, the pre-appointment. So everything we do prior to the appointment, pre-listing package. So if you have an expired listing today, are you sending out, you set the appointment, remember this is if you set the appointment, not door knocking. What's in that pre-listing package that's going to make you look amazing and make them realize that you're an expired hero, like you're here to save them.
I like that.
Then that's, there's a whole bunch, and then doing the CMA and all this, we call that pre-appointment. Then there's at the appointment. At the appointment means I show up a half hour early. I scout the entire area so I can start name dropping schools and parks and hiking trails and all of that. I look for coming soons. I look for other neighbors that have sold recently and all these things. So I'm prepped, right? I'm in that neighborhood early, and I feel comfortable with the area instead of just showing up going, let's see how this goes. Let's rip it, right? Like, let's see how it goes. And then everything from the minute they open the door, I've practiced 1,000 times. I'm not kidding. From how I do the handshake, what I say, how I take my shoes off, how do I direct them to the living room? How do I go through their goals? How do I then now go through the house with them and make sure, and this little joke here and this little thing. I mean, to the point where it was, I started making a game with myself, Haley, because we had this so down, where I was trying to figure out if I could do it in a certain time frame. So I would make a goal for myself. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be in and out in 38 minutes or less, right? And I would start the watch, and I'd be like, okay. And it just became that smooth. And I know it sounds terrible. Sellers are like, God, any of my sellers never hear this. But because they don't want me there a long time. You want me to sitting at your house? I'm not your friend. They're like, this bald guy sitting here blabbering along, like, no, they want to go help me be my hero and get the heck out of my house so I can go back to watching Desperate Housewives or whatever it is, right? Like, I don't want you here. Totally. You're just a hindrance for me to get to what I really want, which is buying my next house because I need to sell this one or I need to do something here. So we laugh and we joke a lot about it, but it's important, right? So you've got at the appointment, then the third step is at the table. So this is where if you're not good at pricing and having pricing conversations, you'll lose a seller in 2 seconds, right? I hear agents go all the time, well, I looked at all the comps, Haley, I think you should be listed at about 550. You didn't even give them the chance to say what they wanted to list at. They want to be at 650. Anything you say after that, they hate your guts. You are now hated.
You're done.
Even if you're right, and people are like, but I'm right, the comps are there. I'm like, you're right, and now you're broke because you didn't get the listing, right? I'd rather be wrong and rich than right and broke. So think about you have to practice this though, and it's so much practice. Estimated net sheets are very tricky, right? How do you show somebody what they're walking away with without them looking at it going, you're making 60 grand, right? Like it's all a finesse. All of this has to be delivered. And then the last part, step 4, is the close, right? Are you having the guts to close for a signature, or did you just do the most amazing presentation and go, so what do you think? So what do you think, Haley? How you feeling? Yeah, I think it's time for you to leave because I have 3 other agents coming, right? So we practice. That's the most important, like 10 seconds is that close. And we have what we call our transition to close, that is like it closes without you having to really close, but it's all a strategy. So those are the 5 things that I wanted to share that I hope bring some value to those that are out there. But you nail those 5, you're going to take more than 6 expireds in 6 weeks. I can be very honest with you, but you gotta do the work.
I love it. I've written a whole page of notes as you've been talking. It's been awesome. I did want to point out, Larry said this when you were talking about getting practicing. He said amateurs practice until they can get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. So I really liked that. Yeah, I think.
But that's true, right? That's what this all comes down to. Agents spend, I picked up golf 2 years ago, Haley, and the golf pro goes, you need 4 hours of practice on the driving range for every 1 time you play. And I was like, what? I just think you can see people go out there and just hack the ball. And I was like, I just want to go play. And he was like, if you ever want to get good at this and not be embarrassing, 4 hours of driving range practice to every 1 time you play. That's what creates pros. We're out here going, you know what? I kind of accidentally ran into this listing appointment and I'm just going to go and see if they like me. They put it on them, not their system. It's got to be your system, not you.
I like this because, the barrier of entry into real estate is so low, right? Like you can get your real estate license really easily. And so people then get into the business thinking maybe it'll be pretty simple and straightforward. But the thing is you have to put in practice. You have to put in real work to get results, especially like when we talk to our customers who use our system for like an hour or even less. And they're like,
where's the money?
Yeah, oh, this doesn't work for me actually. And we're like, okay, so maybe we need to talk about commitment here or consistency, because that's where you're actually going to see the results. And with all of these things that we've talked about, I think the underlining theme here, the most important thing is you need to have a formula. You need to have a system. And if you don't have that, then you're just going to be twiddling your thumbs. You're going to be going to listing presentations, not being able to close or things like that. Because you can have a great script to get you listing appointments, but it means nothing if you can't actually close, right?
And you have to believe. You have to believe. I always tell agents, if I put $10,000 cash in front of you and said, all you have to do is make 180 conversations to have this, and you can have it, they'd be like, where's the phone? The problem is that $10,000 doesn't show up for 60 to 90 days because this process has to happen first. I wish it was easier, or I wish it was more like in your face. It's delayed gratification. And some people just cannot get through their head that you have to lay the foundation to get to, you have to put deposits in the banks to make withdrawals. You can't just start withdrawing when you made no deposits. You got to make the deposits.
Yeah, and you can get a bunch of listings, but if you stop doing the system or anything, then it'll end eventually, right? And so you have to consistently.
That's a huge piece too, Haley, is people finally do hit gold, and then they spend 90 hours on trying to get the listing sold because they don't have a system for that, and then they fall off of prospecting, and you're right, the cycle continues. So yeah. That's why this is so exciting. It's all you can learn any of this. It's just dedicating yourself to mastery. And again, 10,000 hours to get there. But along the way, you can get stupid rich along those 10,000 hours if you take some of these tips and put them into practice.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful. A perfect ending to this, because people that are listening to this podcast right now are people that want to better their business. They're listening because they want strategies and things to implement. But the thing is, like, when we get off here in just a minute, like, then it's you. It's up to you. And if you don't do anything, then you listening to this podcast will be for nothing. And so I want to, like, for anyone that's listening, give them a little push. Like, you can do this. You just have to commit yourself to it, and the results will come. So
yeah, no, Haley, I was just on another session this morning talking to some people, and again, I have a GED, I have no hair, I am not good looking, and I can make a boatload of money doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. I mean, it's that's the greatest thing in this earth about this whole system is it's right there, and you get paid to make phone calls, dress up, and then do nice presentations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a greater job on earth than that. You're not cleaning toilets. You're not digging ditches. You're not working in a restaurant as a waiter or waitress. But you've got to get the system. Right. You've got to leverage the tools like the REDX and use the data and all of these things in the follow-up to really have deep success with it.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendan. This has been chock full of really good information. I'm excited to go into the post show and get snippets from this podcast to help people further as well. So, but for those that are listening, where can they find you? They want to hear more.
So our YouTube channel is a great place. So Brendan Bartic Real Estate Coaching YouTube channel. That's also our website where we have all of our courses, listing mastery, expired mastery, all of those things. Our private Facebook group is Brendan Bartic Real Estate Coaching. Just let us know that you want to be a part of that. And there's a little thing you got to fill out. We'll get you into that. And my podcast, Real Talk with Brendan Bartic, where we go through all like what Haley's doing here. We take a deep dive into like everything about real estate. So all of those places are where I'm at.
Awesome. Yeah, check all of that stuff out. There's so much more than what we've covered today. Even just the previous podcasts that we've had with Brendan have always been this chock full of really good information. So be sure to check that out. Of course, we'll have Brendan back too. So thank you to Brendan. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for everyone that's been watching. I'm seeing all of your comments. So thank you for watching live, and for those that will listen to this after we post this on other podcast platforms. But of course, we will be here same time, same place next week. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. We love seeing people here live, asking questions and commenting. So if you are, we go live at 1:30 Mountain Time every Thursday. So be sure to come hang out with us, check it out, and we will see everybody next week.